Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Oldschool Runescape Explained. My name is Zayla, and in today's episode we are going to be taking a look at farming contracts. Now, farming contracts were released into Oldschool Runescape back on the 10th of January 2019 as part of an expansion to Zia. With the opening of the farming guild, players gain access to another set of allotments that can be found in other areas of the game, but also access to brand new allotments, such as being able to plant the Solstice tree. Alongside being able to plant and fight the Espori, which at the time was a brand new skilling boss, players could also gain access to another brand new activity called farming contracts. Jane, who was the founder of the farming guild, can assign players tasks to plant a certain plant or tree inside the guild, and in return, once the plant or tree is fully grown and harvested, she will award players seed packs in exchange for completing her assignments. Much like the farming guild itself, farming contracts are broken into 3 tiers. In order to be able to do this activity, players must first be able to enter the farming guild, and this requires level 45 in the farming skill. This will also unlock the first tier of farming contracts, which are called easy contracts. To successfully complete an easy contract, players will be tasked with planting their crops in the east side of the farming guild. The guild itself is separated into 3 parts, with the east wing being open to players with level 45 farming or more. In this part of the guild, players will have access to the cactus patch, 2 allotment patches, a flower patch, and the bush patch. When Jane assigns an easy contract, players will be asked to plant a crop in one of the aforementioned patches. For example, you might be asked to plant a limpwort in the flower patch, and when the limpwort is fully grown and harvested, the player will be awarded with a seed pack. Seed packs are awarded from easy contracts, will consist of low level seeds, and so this is a great method of acquiring low level seeds to train a farming skill, particularly if you are an Iron Man. In fact, farming contracts are the best way to acquire seeds to train farming as an Iron Man, with training the Slayer skill, or building birdhouses on Fossil Island, or stealing seeds from the master farmers, being other activities that players can do to acquire seeds as well. And these activities can all be done whilst players are waiting for one of their farming contracts to be completed. The second tier of farming contracts are called medium contracts, and these require level 65 in the farming skill in order to be assigned by Jane. At level 65 farming, players will also unlock the west side of the farming guild. This unlocks a herb patch, a tree patch, the Espori patch, and the anima patch. With medium contracts, players will also be assigned similar tasks to easy contracts. For example, you can still be asked to plant a limpwort in the flower patch, much like you would have been asked to do if you were on an easy contract. But players will also be assigned much more difficult crops to plant in comparison to easy contracts. So for example, you might be asked to plant a tree by Jane, which when fully grown and harvested, will award the player with a seed pack as well. The third and final tier of farming contracts are hard contracts. To be assigned hard contracts, players will need to have level 85 in the farming skill, and by achieving level 85 farming, players will also unlock the final part of the farming guild. In the third and final section of the guild, players will have unlocked a fruit tree patch, the spirit tree patch, a Solstice patch, and finally a redwood patch. Hard contracts will require players to be able to plant a crop in every type of patch in the farming guild, and usually the tasks that they are assigned are usually high level crops. For example, if you were to ask Jane to assign a hard contract, then she could assign you to plant a redwood tree, which requires level 90 in the farming skill. The assignments given by those asking for a hard contract can be particularly difficult, especially for Iron Man accounts. Obtaining a redwood tree seed, for example, can be difficult for Iron Man, particularly when they might be just starting out on farming contracts. The same is true for those starting out on easy or medium contracts as well. So if you are assigned a task that you cannot complete because you cannot get hold of the seed that you're being asked to plant, then you can ask Jane to assign you another contract. When this is done, the task that you were originally given will be skipped, and Jane will assign you a new task. This is similar to how players can skip Slayer assignments when they don't want to or can't complete a Slayer task given to them. But unlike the Slayer Masters, Jane doesn't require any points to skip her assignments. Skipping a farming contract in favour of an easy assignment is always free, but players might notice that their seed pack that they are given at the end of a farming contract might not be as good when they are doing an assignment that they have skipped for. In my player testing of hard contracts, I learned that if you cannot complete the first assignment given to you by Jane, but you can complete the second one, then the seeds that you obtain from the seed pack that you awarded for completing the hard contract will be similar to the seed pack you would have got if you had completed the first assignment. To make that a little easier to understand, then let me put it this way. If you cannot complete the first hard contract you were assigned and ask for another one, and then complete the second hard contract instead, then the seeds you will get from the seed pack will be nearly the same as the one you would have got if you had completed the first assignment. However, this changes if you skip the second assignment as well. On the third assignment contract, upon successful completion, the yield of seeds that are given by the seed pack will be significantly worse than if you had completed the first or second assignment. So my advice would be to avoid skipping assignments by asking for new ones, regardless of the tier of farming contract you're asking to do, and if you really have to skip, then make sure to do at least the second assignment. Also, in my player testing, I discovered the type of yield you can expect from a seed pack once you have completed a hard contract. Taking 50 farming contracts, each completed on their first assignment without fail, and completing one hard contract per day, I opened all 50 farming contracts, and this is what I discovered. For herb seeds, you can expect quite a lot of low and medium level seeds. I classify these anywhere between guam seeds to quam seeds. The exception here is rana seeds, which are mostly used for prayer potions, which tell me that they were specifically nerfed in comparison to other seeds. As for high level herb seeds, which I classify from snapdragon seeds to toadstool seeds, the yield remains consistent, with snapdragons and toadstools coming in less in comparison to cadentine seeds. For allotment seeds, the yield varies. These are the seeds that you plant inside of the allotment patches. It seems that when it comes to the allotment patch, hard contracts will give you a lot of watermelon and snake grass seeds in comparison to the other seeds. Watermelons are used in the creation of super of ultra compost, with snake grass used as a secondary ingredient in creating prayer potions. This is interesting because it appears hard contracts were coded to give these seeds a lot more than the others so that Iron Men in particular won't run low on them, which in turn makes their playing experience slightly easier. For the flower patch, the yield remains consistent except for limpet seeds and white lily seeds. This is interesting because limpets are used as the secondary ingredient for strength potions, and white lily seeds can prevent the rest of the allotment from becoming diseased. For the tree patch, I have found perhaps the most interesting development from my player testing. I have included the hispori seeds in this group because they are much like a tree. The hispori seeds were collected from seed packs and from planting various crops during my player testing. They can be found sometimes when collecting crops from multiple sources, and so a lot of hispori seeds were found from completing 50 hard contracts. We got a lot of low level tree seeds such as oak, maple and willow seeds, but interestingly we didn't get many magic, yew, celstrus or redwood seeds. In particular, we only got one spirit tree from 50 contracts, which shows how rare they are from seed packs. For hardwood trees, it appears that you're going to get slightly more teak seeds than mahogany seeds. As for quackroot seeds, you're going to get quite a few of them from hard contracts as well. With fruit trees, it seems that the yield is going to remain pretty consistent save for palm tree seeds and dragon fruit seeds. This makes sense because palm and dragon fruit trees give the best experience for planting them and are a source for coconuts and dragon fruits, which have a wide array of uses in Oldschool Runescape. This is how many seeds you can expect if you are interested in planting hop seeds, and also the remaining seeds you will need to plant in other patches such as the Arima patch or the Belladonna patch, which is required as a diary task. It's interesting to see that, at least with hard contracts, they don't tend to give many seeds for hop allotments, and this might have something to do with the fact that these seeds are usually used nowadays for birdhouses. Mushroom spores also seem to be particularly rare, which are also used for the Mauritania diary. As for the Anima patch, it seems that hard contracts do not give them as part of the seed pack reward at the end of your farming assignments. I got these seeds from planting and fighting the Hispori, with the Hispori seeds gained from planting high to medium level crops, during my farming assignments. During my playtesting, I was never assigned Neospori as an assignment, but I did include the rewards I got from planting and fighting it, as Spore seeds were found during my time when I was doing hard contracts. As a result, some of the yields for these seeds I have shown might be skewed by the extra rewards given at the end of fighting Neospori. But if you're doing hard contracts, then you might as well be fighting Neospori as well, and so they're all interlinked for the amount of seeds that you can get from doing farming contracts. And that's the end of the episode. I've covered everything that you need to know about farming contracts. And before the episode ends, there's a few things I would like to say. First, Oldschool Runescape Explained has its own Twitter handle, which you can find a link for in the description. Every single time I upload an episode of Oldschool Runescape Explained, it will be tweeted out on that Twitter handle, and it's the best way to keep up to date with the series, as YouTube's algorithm has a way of stopping my videos sometimes appearing in the recommended feed or the description boxes to my subscribers. There's also a ton of other links in the description for my other social media and my playlist for my Mac series. And before I ended, I wanted to apologize as well. I've not done a lot of episodes of Oldschool Runescape Explained since the year turned. I'm slowly getting back on my feet as I've been ill recently, and I've also been concentrating a lot on my hardcore Iron Man in my Mac series. So thank you for watching if you made it to the end of the video. I hope you learned a lot about farming contracts, and I'll catch you in the next video.